The transport ship docked at Horizon's Edge station with a soft hiss of pressure seals, stood at the airlock with a small carrier in her hands. Inside the carrier, an orange tabby cat slept in a tight ball, completely unaware that he was now floating in deep space, millions of kilometers from Earth. She studied alien life forms. The Galactic Council had accepted her application to work at this research station 6 months ago. She had prepared for everything: the different gravity, the recycled air, the 12 alien species she would work alongside. But she had made one special request that almost got her application rejected. She wanted to bring her cat. The airlock opened and stepped into the station's main corridor. The walls were smooth metal, lined with soft blue lights. The air smelled clean but strange, filtered through machines that served a dozen different species. She took a deep breath and walked forward. A tall figure waited for her at the end of the corridor. Commander stood over 2 meters tall. His skin was covered in dark green scales, and his yellow eyes had vertical pupils like a snake. He was a species known for their strength and their warrior traditions. He looked at with an expression she could not read. "Doctor," he said, his voice was deep and rough. "Welcome to Horizon's Edge. I am Commander. I manage this station." "Thank you, Commander," said. She bowed her head slightly in respect. His eyes moved down to the carrier in her hands. "This is the animal you requested to bring, the cat." "Yes, sir. His name is Machi." Leaned closer to look through the carrier's mesh door. Inside, Machi opened one eye, looked at the giant reptile face staring at him, and closed his eye again. He went back to sleep. "It is very small," said. "He weighs about 4 kilograms, agreed." "What does it do?" Smiled. "He keeps me company." Made a sound that might have been confusion or disapproval. "Follow me. I will show you to your quarters." They walked through the station, saw aliens of many kinds moving through the corridors. Some were tall and thin with too many arms. Some were short and covered in thick fur. Some floated in special suits filled with liquid or gas. They all looked at her as she passed. They all looked at the carrier in her hands. Stopped at a door marked with human symbols. "These are your quarters. The environmental controls are set for human comfort. You will begin work tomorrow at the Biology Laboratory, Section 7. "Thank you, Commander." "One more thing," said. He looked at the carrier again. "The bond with war beasts, creatures that can fight alongside us in battle, that have their hive drones, that have their combat bears. These are useful animals. They protect their owners. They serve a purpose." He paused. "What purpose does your small cat serve?" Thought about this question. She had heard it many times before, from friends, from family, from the council officers who processed her application. "On Earth," she said carefully, "cats have lived with humans for thousands of years. They protected our food from pests. They kept us company in lonely places. They asked for very little and gave us comfort in return." Did not look impressed. "It cannot fight, it cannot work, it sleeps most of the day. This seems like a waste of resources." "Maybe," said, "but he makes me happy, and happy humans work better." Studied her for a long moment. Then he turned and walked away without another word. Entered her quarters and set the carrier on the floor. She opened the door and Machi walked out slowly, sniffing the strange new air. He was an orange tabby with white paws and a pink nose. His eyes were golden and calm. He looked around the small room, jumped onto the bed, turned in 3 circles and lay down to sleep. "Welcome home, Machi," said softly. The next day, went to the station's common dining area for her first meal with the crew. The room was large and filled with different tables designed for different species. Some tables were very high, some were very low, some were filled with water. Found the section for oxygen-breathing bipeds and sat down with her tray of food. She was not alone for long. A creature that looked like a giant praying mantis sat down across from her. It had 4 arms, large compound eyes, and mandibles that clicked when it spoke. Its translator device turned the clicks into words. "You are the human," it said. "I am specialist. I work in the biology laboratory. We will be colleagues." "Nice to meet you," said. "I am." "I have heard about you," said. Her mandibles clicked in a pattern that might have been laughter. "You brought a pet, a small furry creature that does nothing." "His name is Machi. He is a cat." "Yes, a cat," leaned closer. Her compound eyes reflected its face in 100 tiny images. "I have studied Earth animals. Your cats are predators, yes. They hunt small creatures." "That's right. But this cat of yours, does it hunt? Does it fight? Does it do anything useful at all?" Took a bite of her food. "He sleeps, he eats, he knocks things off tables. Sometimes he stares at walls for no reason." Made the laughing sound again. "A defective predator, how amusing. On my world, we would not waste food on such a useless creature." Other aliens at nearby tables had been listening. Some of them laughed too. A showed his teeth in what might have been a smile. A small furry shook its head in disbelief. Did not get angry. She had expected this. Humans were new to the galactic community. They had much to prove, and Machi was, by any reasonable standard, a very lazy cat. "He is not useless to me," said simply. "He is my friend." Clicked her mandibles. Humans, so sentimental, so soft. She stood up from the table. "I will see you in the laboratory tomorrow, colleague. Try not to let your friendship with a sleeping furball affect your work." She walked away. The other aliens went back to their meals, finished eating alone, thinking about Machi waiting for her in their quarters. They did not understand. They could not understand, and did not know how to explain it to them. But that was okay. She and Machi did not need their approval. They just needed each other. 3 weeks passed on Horizon's Edge Station, settled into her new life. She worked in the biology laboratory during the day, studying samples from distant worlds. She ate her meals alone or with the few crew members who did not mock her. She returned to her quarters each night to find Machi waiting by the door. The cat had adapted well to station life. He had favorite spots to sleep: the corner of the bed, the top of the storage cabinet, the warm vent near the bathroom. He ate his food. He used his litter box. He knocked data pad off the desk exactly 3 times per day. He was, in every way, a normal cat. But was not the only human on the station. One day in the laboratory, she met. He was an engineer from Korea, like her. He had been on the station for 2 years, maintaining the life support systems and repairing broken equipment. He was tall and thin with kind eyes and a quick smile. When he heard that another Korean had arrived on the station, he came to find her immediately. "You brought a cat," he said when they met. His face broke into a huge grin. "I heard rumors, but I did not believe them. You actually brought a cat to a space station." "His name is Machi," said. "I love cats. Can I meet him?" That evening came to his quarters. Machi sniffed his hand carefully, decided he was acceptable, and allowed himself to be petted. Sat on the floor and scratched behind the cat's ears while Machi purred loudly. "The aliens do not understand," said. "They think cats are useless because they are small. They do not know." "Know what?" Smiled. "Cats are killers. On Earth, cats have killed billions of birds, billions of rodents, billions of small creatures. They are one of the most successful predators on our planet. They just do not look like it." Laughed. "Try telling that too. She calls Machi a defective predator." "Is a fool," said. "She sees a small sleeping animal and thinks she understands. But cats do not sleep because they are lazy. They sleep to save energy. They are always ready to hunt, always waiting." Machi yawned, showing his small sharp teeth. Then he rolled onto his back and demanded belly rubs. The next week, a supply ship arrived at the station. It carried food, equipment, and something else. Specimens. Living creatures from hostile worlds captured for study. The biology team gathered in the cargo hold to receive them. Commander was there. So was So were a dozen other scientists from different species. They watched as large metal containers were unloaded from the ship. These specimens are from the Death Worlds, explained to the group. Planets with extreme conditions and dangerous life forms. We will study them to understand how life adapts to hostile environments. One container was marked with red warning symbols, pointed to it. This one contains a from 7, extremely dangerous, venomous spines, perfect camouflage, ambush predator. It is heavily sedated, but we must be careful. Looked at the container. Something about it made her feel uneasy, but she said nothing. That evening, the crew gathered in the common area to celebrate the successful delivery. Drinks were served. Stories were shared. The aliens began to boast about their bonded creatures. A named stood up and removed his shirt. His scaled body was covered in scars. Long white lines crossed his chest and arms. "These are from my war hound," he said proudly. "I tamed him when I was young. He tried to kill me 17 times before he accepted me as his master. Now he would die for me." The other made sounds of approval. And a massive bear-like creature named spoke next. "On my world, we bond with ice bears. They are 3 meters tall and can break metal with their claws. My ice bear once killed a pack of snow wolves to protect my family. That is what a real companion animal does." Everyone looked at. She pretended not to notice, but would not let her escape. "Tell us, human," said loudly. "What has your mighty cat killed? A piece of string, a small insect, perhaps a dust ball under the furniture?" Laughter filled the room. Stood up, his face was calm but his voice was firm. "You should not laugh. Cats have conquered Earth. They have spread to every continent. They have killed more prey animals than any other predator their size. They are perfect hunters." Snorted, "Earth birds are tiny. Earth rodents are weak. What kind of predator hunts such pathetic creatures?" "The kind that never fails," said. "The kind that waits in silence and strikes without warning. The kind that does not need size or strength because it has speed, precision, and patience." The aliens laughed again. They did not believe him. They could not imagine that a 4-kilogram ball of orange fur could be dangerous. Did not argue. She finished her drink and returned to her quarters. Machi was not in his usual spot on the bed. She found him crouched by the ventilation grate, his ears pointed forward, his body tense. He was staring at the metal grate with intense focus. "Machi, what is it?" The cat did not move. He did not look at her. He just kept staring at the vent. Listened, she heard nothing, just the normal hum of the station's systems. "You are being silly," she said. She picked him up and carried him to the bed. But he would not relax. He kept looking at the vent. His tail twitched back and forth. Strange thought. Machi was usually so calm, so lazy. She had never seen him this alert. She fell asleep with him on her chest. But when she woke in the middle of the night, he was gone. She found him by the vent again, silent and watching. Something was wrong, but did not know what. In the cargo hold, deep in the station's lower levels, one of the specimen containers stood open. The sedatives had failed. The creature inside had adapted just as it always did. It was awake now. It was hungry. And it had found a way into the ventilation system. They began to move through the station, invisible in the darkness, searching for prey. The strange events began slowly, small things that no one noticed at first. A maintenance drone stopped working in Corridor 7. Then another drone failed in Corridor 12. The engineering team found them broken, their circuits burned and their metal bodies crushed, examined the damage and frowned. "This is strange," he told at lunch. "The drones look like something attacked them, but there is nothing in the corridors that could do this." "Maybe a malfunction," suggested. "Both drones malfunctioned the same way, and both look like they were bitten," shook his head. "No, something else is happening." But the station commanders were not worried. Drones broke sometimes. Equipment failed. It was normal life on a space station. They ordered new drones and moved on. Had her own concerns. Machi was not acting normal. For 3 days, the cat barely slept. He followed everywhere. When she went to work, he sat by the door and cried. When she returned, he pressed against her legs and would not leave her side. At night, he did not curl up on the bed like usual. He crouched by the door or by the ventilation grate, ears turning at every small sound. "What is wrong with you?" asked him. She had never seen him so tense, so alert. It was like he was waiting for something. She mentioned it too. "Cats can sense things humans cannot," he said. "They hear sounds we cannot hear. They see movement we cannot see. Maybe Machi knows something we do not." "Like what?" Did not answer, but his face was worried. The next day, confronted in the laboratory. "Your animal is disturbed," the scientist said. Her mandibles clicked with annoyance. "I passed your quarters this morning and it hissed at me through the door. Control your pet or I will file a complaint." "I am sorry," said. "He is not usually like this. Something is bothering him. Perhaps it is going insane from boredom. I told you, useless creatures do not belong on a research station." Walked away before could respond. That night could not sleep. Machi sat at the foot of her bed, completely still, staring at the ventilation grate. His tail was puffed up to twice its normal size. His ears were flat against his head. "Machi, please," said. "Come here, sleep with me." The cat did not move. Got up and walked to the grate. She pressed her ear against it and listened. At first, she heard nothing, just the whisper of air moving through the ducts. Then she heard something else. A soft scraping sound, like claws on metal, very faint, very far away. Her heart beat faster. "Hello," she called into the grate. Her voice echoed back to her. No response came. She told herself it was nothing, just the station settling, just pipes expanding and contracting, just normal sounds that she had never noticed before. But Machi knew better. The cat jumped down from the bed and pressed himself against legs. He made a low sound deep in his throat, not a meow, not a purr, a warning. Picked him up and held him close. She could feel his heart beating fast against her chest. His body was tense, ready to move at any moment. "What do you see?" she whispered. "What do you know?" Machi stared at the vent with his golden eyes. He did not blink. In the walls of Horizon's Edge Station, the moved closer. It was the perfect predator for its world. On 7, survival meant silence and patience. It could change the color of its skin to match any surface. It could stay still for days, waiting for prey to come close. Its spines contained a venom that killed in minutes, shutting down the nervous system while the victim was still conscious. The sedatives should have kept it asleep for weeks, but the had evolved on a world full of toxins. Its body learned to process the chemicals. It woke up hungry and angry. Now it moved through the ventilation system, learning the layout of the station. It was intelligent enough to be patient. It watched the crew through the grates. It learned their patterns. It chose its target carefully. The warmest quarters belonged to the human, the small one who lived alone, the one who would not be able to fight back. It began to make its way towards room. But there was something it did not expect, something it had never encountered on 7. Another predator was waiting. Machi had known about the creature for days. He could hear it moving in the walls. He could smell its strange alien scent through the vents. He did not understand what it was, but he understood what it wanted. It wanted to hurt his human. Cats do not protect territory the way dogs do. They do not bark warnings or chase intruders away. They wait. They watch. They let the threat come close. And then they strike. Machi had stopped eating. He had stopped sleeping. Every moment of every day he was ready. His claws were sharp. His muscles were coiled. His ancient hunting instincts, passed down through millions of years of evolution, told him exactly what to do. Wait for it to come. Let it think it is safe. and when it shows itself, kill it before it can react. Did not know any of this. She only knew that her cat was acting strange. She worried about him. She wondered if she should take him to the station's veterinary specialist. She fell asleep holding him close, trying to comfort him. But Machi did not need comfort. He needed her to sleep. He needed her to stay still and quiet and unaware. Because tonight there was coming. And Machi was ready. The station clock showed 300. The night cycle was at its darkest. The corridors were empty. The crew was asleep. Only the soft hum of machines broke the silence. In her quarters slept deeply. She had been tired for days, worrying about Machi and working long hours in the laboratory. Now her body demanded rest. She did not move. She did not dream. She was completely vulnerable. Machi was not on the bed. The orange tabby crouched in the shadows near the ventilation grate. His body was low to the ground. His tail was still. His golden eyes were wide open, pupils fully expanded in the darkness. He could see better in this light than any creature on the station. He had not moved for 2 hours. He heard it first, the soft scrape of claws on metal, closer now, much closer than before. The sound came from inside the ventilation shaft just behind the grate. Machi's ears rotated forward, his muscles tensed, but he did not move, not yet. The grate began to shift. Something was pushing it from inside, slowly, carefully. The creature behind it was being patient. It thought it was the hunter here. It did not know it was being watched. The grate fell to the floor with a soft clang. Stirred in her sleep but did not wake. They emerged from the vent. It was the size of a large dog, but its body was wrong. Too many joints, too many angles. Its skin shifted colors as it moved, trying to match the walls, the floor, the darkness. 6 legs carried it forward in complete silence. Its head was flat and wide with no visible eyes, but it did not need eyes. It hunted by heat and vibration. Long spines ran down its back. They glistened with venom in the faint light. One scratch from those spines would paralyze a human in seconds and kill them in minutes. The creature paused at the edge of the vent. It tasted the air with a forked tongue. It sensed the warm body on the bed, the human, sleeping, helpless. It began to move toward. Machi watched from the shadows. The creature had not noticed him. It could not see him in the darkness. It could not hear him because he made no sound. It could not smell him because cats were clean animals who left no scent trail. There was 3 meters from the bed. 2 meters. 1 meter. It raised its front legs, preparing to climb onto the bed. Its spines rose from its back, ready to strike. In seconds, it would inject its venom into the sleeping human. She would wake just long enough to feel the poison spreading through her body. Then she would die. Machi launched himself from the shadows. He crossed the distance in less than a second. They had no time to react, no time to understand what was happening. One moment it was about to kill. The next moment, something small and orange slammed into its face. Machi's claws found the creature's sensory organs. He struck at the heat-sensing pits on its flat head. The screamed, a high horrible sound that finally woke. She sat up in bed. Her eyes could not understand what she was seeing, shapes moving in the darkness. Her cat, something else, something wrong. The thrashed wildly. It swung its body, trying to throw off the small creature attacking it. Its venomous spines slashed through the air. Any other animal would have been hit, would have been poisoned, would have died. But Machi was not any other animal. He moved with a speed that seemed impossible. He twisted his body in midair, dodging a spine that passed centimeters from his fur. He landed on the creature's back, claws digging deep into its flesh. The rolled, trying to crush him. Machi jumped away, spun, and attacked again. The whole fight lasted 7 seconds. In those 7 seconds, Machi did what millions of years of evolution had designed him to do. He was not thinking. He was not afraid. He was pure instinct, pure predator. His final strike was perfect. He bit down on this neck, right where the spine met the skull. His small, sharp teeth found the gap between armored plates. He bit through nerve and muscle and bone. The collapsed. Its legs twitched once, twice, then stopped. Its spines fell flat against its body. It was dead before it hit the floor. Screamed. The sound echoed through the station. Alarms began to ring. Emergency lights turned on, filling the room with red light. Machi sat on top of the dead creature. His orange fur was stained with alien blood. His golden eyes looked up calmly. He licked his paw. He meowed once as if to say, "I took care of it." Security arrived within minutes. Commander burst through the door with 3 armed guards. They stopped and stared at the scene before them. A human woman standing on her bed in shock. A dead on the floor, one of the most dangerous creatures in the known galaxy, and a small orange cat sitting on top of it, cleaning himself. Came running. She pushed past the guards and saw the dead creature. Her mandibles clicked rapidly in disbelief. That is the specimen from 7, she said. Her voice was shaking. It escaped. It was in the vents. It was hunting. It was hunting me, whispered. She was beginning to understand. The broken drones, the sounds in the walls, Machi's strange behavior. He had known. All along he had known. Commander looked at the small cat with new eyes. Your animal did this. Nodded slowly. Tears were running down her face. Machi yawned, showing his small sharp teeth, still stained with this blood. Then he jumped onto the bed, curled up next to and went to sleep. The medical bay was cold and bright. Sat on an examination table while doctors scanned her body. Machi sat in her lap, finally relaxed, purring softly as she stroked his fur. The blood had been cleaned from his coat. He looked like any normal cat again. But the station would never see him the same way. You are very lucky, the doctor told. He showed her the scan results on a screen. This venom is extremely dangerous. One scratch and the neurotoxin enters your bloodstream. Paralysis in 30 seconds. Organ failure in 3 minutes. Death in 5. There is no cure. Held Machi, he saved my life. More than that. The doctor pointed to data on the screen. The creature had been tracking you for days. It learned your routine. It waited until you were alone and asleep. This was not random hunting. This was planned. It chose you specifically because your quarters were isolated and warm. Thought about all the nights she had slept peacefully, not knowing that death was crawling through the walls toward her. She felt sick. How did it escape? She asked. The sedatives failed. They evolved on a world full of toxins. Its body adapted to the chemicals faster than we expected. It has been loose in the station for almost a week. A week? Machi had known for a week. He had stopped sleeping. He had stopped eating. He had watched and waited, preparing himself for the moment when the creature would finally attack. Arrived at the medical bay with news. The station council wants to see you, both of you. The command deck was full when arrived. Commander stood at the center, surrounded by representatives from every species on the station. Was there too, standing in the back, her compound eyes unreadable. Walked in with Machi in her arms. The room fell silent. Commander spoke first. Doctor, we have analyzed this body. We have reviewed the security footage from your quarters. We understand now what happened. He paused. Your animal killed a fully grown in single combat. This creature has hunted and killed warriors. It has destroyed armed security teams, and your small cat defeated it in 7 seconds. Said nothing. She did not know what to say. Stepped forward. Her mandibles clicked slowly, a sign of deep thought. I owe you an apology. I called your cat useless. I called it a defective predator. I was wrong. You judged him by your standards, said softly. You saw a small animal that slept all day and thought he was weak. Yes, lowered her head. I did not understand. Stepped forward. He looked around the room at all the alien faces. May I explain something to this council? Commander nodded. walked to the center of the room. He spoke clearly so everyone could understand. On Earth, cats are small compared to other predators. They are not as strong as lions or bears. They are not as fast as wolves or eagles, but they have something else. They have perfect efficiency. He pointed at Machi. This animal does not waste energy. He sleeps 18 hours a day to conserve strength. He does not chase prey. He waits for prey to come to him. He does not fight unless he knows he can win. And when he fights, he aims for the killing blow immediately. Looked at the warriors in the room. Your war beasts are powerful, but they are loud. They warn their enemies. They fight with strength, not precision. A cat does not warn. A cat does not threaten. A cat watches. A cat waits. And when the moment is perfect, a cat kills. He turned to, you asked what purpose a cat serves. I will tell you. On Earth, cats have killed over 2 billion birds and 12 billion mammals every year. They have driven species to extinction. They are the most successful invasive predator on our planet. They do not look dangerous because they do not need to look dangerous. They only need to be dangerous. And they are. The room was silent. Commander looked at Machi. The small orange cat was asleep in his arms, completely unaware of the attention. His paws twitched slightly. Maybe he was dreaming of hunting. 7 seconds, said quietly. One of the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy, and your cat killed it in 7 seconds. He was protecting me, said. That is what cats do. They may seem independent, they may seem lazy, but when something threatens their family, they become something else entirely. Was quiet for a long moment. Then he did something had never seen a do. He bowed his head in respect. I have bonded with war beasts my entire life, he said. I have fought beside creatures that could tear through metal, but I have never seen anything kill with such speed and precision. Your cat is a true predator, and you humans, he looked up at with his yellow reptilian eyes. You are death too. We forget this sometimes. You look soft. You look weak. But you came from a world that produced creatures like this. Perhaps we should not underestimate you. Smiled, perhaps not. The council meeting ended, walked back to her quarters with Machi in her arms, walked beside her. You know, he said, after today, everyone on the station will look at cats differently. Good, said, maybe now they will understand. She entered her quarters. The ventilation grate had been repaired. The room had been cleaned. Everything was back to normal. She set Machi on the bed. He stretched, yawned, and curled into a ball. Within seconds, he was asleep again. Watched him for a long time. This small, lazy, useless creature who had saved her life. This tiny predator who had killed a monster in the dark. Thank you, she whispered. Machi's ear twitched. Maybe he heard her, maybe he did not. He was just a cat after all. But out here in the cold darkness of space, surrounded by aliens who had finally learned to respect him, that was more than enough.